Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Dynamic Distance Podcast. The Dynamic Distance Podcast is about regular high school runners who aren't satisfied. Throughout the podcast, you'll hear a little bit about each of our goals, ambitions, and opinions. My name is Christian Lecher, and this is Dynamic Distance. Introduce yourself, Holden.
Hello, listeners. My name is Holden Wells, and I'm very excited for this Dynamic Distance podcast. I'm hoping to give it a lot of effort and it be, a good little gem for all y'all.
This is our first ever one, isn't it, Holden?
This is, in fact, the first ever podcast.
For the viewers that didn't know, so this is not the first time we have met each other. We are actually on the same team. If you zoom in and you're really weird, you can actually see him somewhere on one of these newspapers up here.
I'm always in the newspaper. Just
yeah, there's always a photo of him, and he's like standing right behind me in a race.
Yeah, because I'm about to lap him, but we'll keep going.
Okay, so let's have a little bit of fun with this. Our first thing that we're going to get into is Liberty Bibberty. So at the time of this recording, the next race for us is the Walter Bass Invitational at Liberty University Indoor Track Complex. So we're going to talk about our goals and what events we want to participate in. So Holden, let's start with you.
Alrighty, I got a lot of information on my event and whatnot. I'm going to be running the 3200, and the fastest person in the race runs a 920, which I will not be touching right now, maybe in years to come. There's over 60 entries in my race as of like 3 days ago, so it's still like over a week for people to enter. But my current PR is 11:27, and I'm going for a sub 11 minute 3200. So on this track, I would need to run 41 seconds per lap and 5:30 per mile to go sub 11. But that's my goal in my event. Hopefully we can meet it.
I think it's doable. That Liberty track is definitely really nice. So, unlike Holden, I really did not come prepared about what I was going to say. I was not stalking who was in how many entries were in my event because, I really don't care that much until the day before. So,
All right.
Yeah. So, I am a miler. The 1600 is my wife. That is my favorite event.
His wife.
Yeah. And then, so obviously I'm running the 1600. I'm seated at 437. That was my PR last year for outdoor. And just going into it, trying to qualify for states. So we participate in VHSL class 4. So just trying to get to a 428, and then I'll be happy about that. And so just going to go for it. This will really be my first race back. I had whooping cough, which was terrible. So if I just get back to where I was, I think I'll do really good. And then, I'm just running the 1000 for fun, trying to beat one of our teammates' record. Holden, where did you? Okay.
I'm back.
Okay. I guess he went to go to the bathroom or something. But one of the kids holds the 1K record of 327.
So
rolled.
we ought to.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hopefully that can be beaten, possibly even running backwards. But
I'll be beating it. Much love to the guy that has the record, but I ran 3:13 sick, which is still like absolutely terrible. My coach has me seated in at 3:10, so I think I'll do good for my heat for sure. But so that those will be the first races back, and then I'll just be cheering on my little Holden for.
I'm taller than you.
They can't really tell. They don't need to know that.
Guys, I'm 6'1", he's 5'7".
I'm actually not 5'7". That's a bad guess. That's a bad guess. But yeah, I'll be cheering Mr. Holden on here. So
I can see him running a 427. Excited for that. One thing I was actually going to talk about, we have to be at the school at 5:30 in the morning, which is a little crazy. And then I don't race until like close to 9 at night. So I will get on the bus, sleep, get off the bus, sleep until Christian runs, watch Christian run, go back to sleep until I have to run. Because, that's just a bit much for me to stay up for that long, and then also hope to compete at my best in the 3200 later that night.
Well, you sound like very professional when you're talking about that. I don't understand it.
I'm always professional.
Okay.
Anyway, some more information I have about the meet is that there's over 200 entries in the boys 1000, 1600, 300, and in the 55, there's 453 entries already. So
Oh,
it's going to be a pretty
um,
packed house.
so does that, talking about the 55, do we need to transition to something else, or do we need to talk about Liberty a little bit more?
Um, I have my strategy written down for the race. I don't know if anybody wants to hear it.
What is your strategy, Mr. Holden?
All right. So in recent races, I've tried to go out hard, but then I would only go out hard for like the first 200, and the lead pack would leave me. Like I would be stuck leading like the second pack. So in this race, I hope to go out hard for the first 2 laps and stay with the leading pack, whether that be 5 guys in my heat or 10 guys. It doesn't really matter. Just try to stay with them so I don't drop, because that's normally like a 20-second gap between the two, like the last person in the lead pack and the first person in the second one. So hopefully I can stay with them. And then for the first mile, I would like to pace behind somebody for the whole first mile, and then after that, just kind of pass them and do my own thing, and just see what happens.
Wonderful race strategy. So, my all-time race strategy for the mile is sit and kick. You are not beating me in an all-out sprint to the finish in the mile. Nobody has done that before, I don't think. So, just gonna sit on someone's shoulder, go run as fast as I possibly can, and then just cross that finish line, get that qualifying time. So,
I would like to add that I have beaten him in a sit and kick.
in a what? In a sit and kick?
Yeah,
Okay, what was the practice? Tell me what the practice was.
I think. What was it? What was it? You should remember.
I don't remember because it never happened.
No, it's when he had whooping cough, and
Okay, that does not count.
he was running in his old 1080s, and we did a speed work, or we did like a speed day, or just a speed exercise at the end of it, and then the 1080s and the whooping cough could not hold him up to me and the old. What did I have on? I don't know. It doesn't matter because I'm just.
I promise you, you probably had your speed coats on. I do not remember this at all.
I remember it.
In all seriousness, I do not remember what blood is yapping about.
Blood is yapping about. All right. Now what?
Are we gonna move on to something else?
Oh, I didn't know you wanted me to do all the moving on.
Yeah, I literally told you to do that.
All right. Well, that's our Liberty takes. We'll maybe on the next podcast we'll tell you the results and hopefully we met our goals.
I think we will. I'll also try and get some footage at the race that I can add in later.
That'd be very nice. We'll record each other.
Yeah.
Our next segment or topic is going to be what is considered a runner.
Hot take: sprinters aren't runners; they're just fast.
Yeah, well,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna build off of that and say if your main event is a dash rather than whatever the other term is, then you're a sprinter, not a runner. So
okay. To be fair, if you're sprinting and you're walking at practice, not throwing any shade, but we are. I'm not considering you a runner. But if you're like out here working every single day, doing those hundreds, doing those 200s, I think you're a runner.
If you're running over a mile a day at practice, I would give it to you.
Yeah, and you're being consistent about it. You're just not like doing it once a week and then walking at practice.
Yeah. Another point that I had on this topic is that there's not really a body type limit on running, but there's an effort limit. And what I mean, like, if a larger person wants to go out there and run,
Like my
but
dad.
yeah, you're running extremely slow, and you can only run like 800 before you have to go inside and take a rest. I wouldn't judge you for that. I'd still consider you a runner if that effort level is the same as somebody who's already consistent with it, going out there running like 5 mile easy run. So it's more of an effort thing than how you perform. And if you put in that effort, then eventually that performance will get better, in my opinion.
Yeah, so like for example, my dad right now, we have a treadmill at our house. Holden doesn't, but my dad, he's been he's been running on. He ran on the treadmill a few days ago, and he's just trying to work up consistently to that to try and lose weight. And he, even though he's going like a 17:05 pace, he's still doing it. So I can't be mad at him for that. Honestly, I wouldn't consider him a runner yet, just because he's only done it like a few times. But
Any pace is a better pace than sitting on the couch. So
you're doing that. Okay, if you're like running like at least 3 to 4 days a week consistently every single week, I would say you're a runner. That's my opinion.
yeah, but one of my points said that if you run at least 3 to 4 times a week and a mile each time, then I'd definitely give you runner. It doesn't really. If you're like well and fit and that's all you're doing, then I'm gonna need a little more effort than that. But
Yeah, like if you're like one of those like gym girls who hops on the treadmill like twice a week for cardio and then you go to Starbucks right after, you're not a runner. I'm sorry. I'm taking that sticker off your MacBook that says run life. I'm sorry. I'm taking that off. You need to be like actually arrested, put in jail. I'm joking.
people like that, like people should run to better themselves rather than just say they're a runner. So if you're one of those like a sorority girl that wants to go out and say, "Oh,
Sorority girl.
I'm in the fit club running," but you're not really doing all that much, like come on now, we can put forth more effort. So don't run to just say that you're a runner. It's like a good label for some people, but I don't know, just don't use it as more than it is.
Before I move on to talking about his comment, now if you're injured or sick, that does not count. Like if you physically cannot do it because it'll like worsen you, then I mean, of course you can still run. But what do you have against sorority girls? You literally have siblings that are sorority girls. So
No, I don't.
yes, you
She wasn't
do.
in a sorority.
You said you've been to a sorority party before.
All right, we went somewhere. She wasn't in a sorority.
Okay, that's okay. I
All
thought
right.
she was. That's my bad.
Anyways,
Stop the sorority girl hate, please.
oh no, we're gonna keep that going. But
Really?
my final point for this was being a slow runner is okay, but being satisfied with that is not. So that kind of adds on to the effort kind of thing. You got to have a goal in there. And if your goal is just to run slow and be happy with that and all like this culture nowadays where you're just accepting everything, let's get rid of that in the running world because you need to have bigger goals than just running slow. It's okay to run slow for a little bit, but
Yeah, it's
don't
okay.
be satisfied with that. Like you need to want more for yourself and see how much you actually love yourself to keep going.
I mean, Holden, for example, he's a slow runner.
But no, I'm not.
His race pace is 10:30 per mile.
What is that? Yeah, in the 1,000 mile run actually. In an ultra marathon, it's 10:30 per mile.
Okay, yeah, because he's totally check his Strava and you'll see that he has not run anything above 7 miles.
Okay, that was not necessary.
Okay, my bad. I'm just throwing out stuff for fun.
You think he's funny, folks. Do you have anything else on this topic?
Um,
He's munching on those pretzels. I told him
no,
not to
I
touch them in
finished.
my
Okay, I
pocket.
finished the pretzels. I was just chewing on some ice, but nah, I don't have anything on it. Honestly, be consistent and you get the runner label.
Yeah.
Don't just show up with your Hoka Bondis to work one day and you're like Lululemon top and your shorts and be like, "Oh, I ran today," when you literally walked to Starbucks. Just don't.
All right. Yeah. So to wrap up what I said about this, just it's more of an effort level than it is than it is just a label. Go out there and put in effort. It doesn't matter how fast you are. If you put in effort, you can be a runner, in my opinion. But moving on, this is a pretty fun topic. This is shoes we are excited for to come out in the new year.
And quick disclaimer, we're not going to discuss the Vaporfly 4 because that's just like a basic answer.
Yeah, that's an obvious. Also, I'm not a Vaporfly fan because I think it's too narrow for my steps. He
I'm
is
not
a
I'm not a Vaporfly fan either.
he currently has a Vaporfly on his face, but they're old and beat up, and he needs a new pair.
They only have 120 miles.
Oh, we have 120 miles.
Yeah, I could at least get probably another 100 on them. But I probably will be getting the Vaporfly 4s if I don't get another shoe that I'm going to discuss. So
I would not be getting them because they're too narrow for my feet. If he gets them and I try them on and they feel wider, then I'll get a pair.
I think they are going to make them wider
I hope so.
to accommodate more runners.
Yeah, the slower people like me, apparently. But
Yeah.
do you want to start off with your first shoe since you said
Yeah, so let me share my screen real quick. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Cloud Spike Sidious, the Sidious spray.
Mm-hmm.
You can still see it, right?
I can.
So I have the On Cloud Spike 10,000. I ran in those for outdoor track last year and then my cross country season. Great shoe, really nice balance. I currently have the Dragonfly 2 Elites, so I'm just trying to compare if I like what I like more about these. But on spikes, they have a place in my heart. Honestly, I tried the Cloud Monsters and they weren't the best shoe in the world, but these definitely have a place in my heart. The Cloud Spikes. So honestly, maybe if they come out with these, because I still don't know if they will, I get a pair of these. They're probably going to be really expensive because that lights On's light spray shoes are like $330. So I don't know how much I'm gonna drop on some spikes, but it's definitely something cool to consider. I just don't know how they'll perform. And then I had another option too, so let me show you that. Oh shoot, not
Oh,
that. It's this.
okay.
So that's the Nike Streak Fly 2, and that image I got from Sova, the running YouTube channel. So they were using those to do like quick 400s. I think it was quick 400s and some strides in those. They look insanely fast. It's like so the Streak Fly is like the Vaporfly but lower stack and without the plate. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it doesn't have the plate, but I could be wrong. Um, but those honestly look insanely fast and really cool.
Yeah, I like
So
those. They look
yeah,
nice.
they look very nice. So maybe I get a pair of streak flies and not vapor flies when these things come out. So just because I heard like Cole was talking about them and he really enjoyed them. It might be a little basic pick to put that on my list, but there you go. I don't have any Hoka and New Balance stuff on my list, but that's okay. The I was looking at the Hoka Bondi stuff, and I'm not really into that. I love my Mach 6s, so maybe if they come out with Mach 7s, I'm all for it. But those were my shoe picks.
I got you. I'm expecting to buy the Cloud whatever 10,000s for my outdoor season. So
You will love those so
maybe
much.
when the next pair comes out, I'll get those two that he was talking about. But my choice was the Nike Zoom Fly 7, which actually broke the rules a little bit. We said the new year, but this doesn't come out till April of 2026, so over a year. But
When I
these are
graduate,
these are the sixes, and they're beautiful, and they are the greatest shoe ever made. They're my absolute favorite shoe. I have about 41, maybe 42 miles on them, and they're very fast, springy shoe. But some things I don't have much to change. But what I did say I would like them to change when the 7 comes out is maybe drop the price a little bit. I think these were 170, but I like to save my money. So for me specifically, maybe drop it to 150. Also, there was only like 6 or 7 colorways in this, and I think several of them looked very similar. Nike kept going with like that tannish skin color kind of thing, and I like that. But they just made several different shoes with that color, so maybe more colorways. And if you want to give a Holden Wells edition, then I can make a really nice looking shoe. So just hit me up, Nike. I know y'all are a big fan of my podcast. Also, it'd be cool if they made a trail edition. I wouldn't buy them, but maybe someone would. I'm just saying they make a trail edition of a lot of shoes, but they didn't make it of this shoe, so I was like, they should make one.
Have you seen the Ultrafly? The Nike Ultrafly?
Uh-huh.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think that would probably be the best trail option.
I mean, I wouldn't get
It's
them,
like
but
260.
I know a lot
You
of
can
people
get
think
them on
this
like
is cooler.
I think you can get them on like StockX for like 170 or something. But
Yeah. Some of the things that I love about this shoe that I wish they would keep the same is I love the combo of the foam that they did. They did half of it, their Zoom-X race foam, and the other half is a more
the
soft.
Zoom-X.
Yeah, the other half is a little softer and more practicey. And then I also would like them to keep the carbon plate in there, obviously, because that's just my favorite thing in the world. And then it would be really bad if they made the shoe any heavier, because these are nice and light. I think it's like 7 ounces. So they keep it like that, and I'll be happy. But that's what I'm expecting from the Nike Zoom Fly 7. Very excited about those. I didn't pick another shoe, but another shoe that I'd be excited about would be the next version of the 1080s, because I just got the 14s and I'm really enjoying those. So one of these days.
Hold on, let me find mine. I wonder if oh yes. I also have a pair of 1080s.
Yes, I bought mine, and then about a week later, he was like, "Oh, I gotta be like Holden," and went and got him a pair. But
Okay. That was what Lee from Run and Try told me to get. Shout out Run and Try. But that was what they told me to get. I was like, okay. I tried on a pair of, I think, Saucony Ride 17s, and they were just not it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is that what Peyton has?
Saucony has, I mean, Peyton has Brooks, not Saucony.
All right, well, I reckon that's our topic on shoes we're excited for. Our fourth topic.
Yeah,
On every podcast,
my list is a lot more exciting.
mine is. Our fourth topic on every podcast is going to be more of a fun topic, not really running centralized. So this one we picked.
Well, I wouldn't really say this next thing is fun.
I mean, it's going to be fun when I start talking about it.
Yeah. I got a little intro, like a little disclaimer that I gotta do before you say anything, okay?
This is wait, you want to go now?
Yeah. So okay, disclaimer. The purpose of this podcast is not to state our personal
Oh my god.
Okay, let me restart. The purpose of this podcast is not to state our personal political views. We are simply discussing real world events from the perspective of teenagers in a modern society. Love him or hate him, Jimmy Carter had one of the most impactful presidencies of any person. So rest in peace, Jimmy Carter. Okay, let's get into that funeral. Hold on.
Yep.
I need a second to fix myself. So you go on, please.
So topic 4 is in fact Jimmy Carter's funeral. I have several different things on Jimmy Carter. So first, or on the funeral itself, not specifically on him. But first thing I would like to say is so long, Jimmy Carter. I hope you rest in peace. One of my points was Biden was seen with his head down and eyes closed at one point. got this off of maybe reliable, maybe not reliable source, but I'm hoping it's not true. If it is, then I didn't really expect more from Biden specifically, but from a president, I would. So
I think they
maybe,
showed that on ABC too, that he was kind of taking a little
yeah,
snooze.
maybe got a little drowsy. Funerals aren't that exciting. Hopefully, um, maybe got a little drowsy. He's an
he
older
just he
guy.
just wakes up in the middle of the funeral.
He's an older guy. Hopefully, he got through it. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's about 612, and who knows what he's got going on with his head. But he was seen head down, eyes closed. Who knows? Um,
Mm-mm-mm.
also have several different quotes that Trump said about mainly him and Obama's sitting together and talking or
Yeah,
whatever.
so
So
they looked very happy when they were like sitting next to each other. They were laughing, exchanging exchanging
giggles.
smiles and yeah, giggles. And I was like, oh, that's a great moment of unity across the party. So I have a little video that I'm gonna pull up that kind of represents the whole funeral in a way before we move on, Holden.
Okay. It says when you see your friend getting along with your ops.
Oh yeah, sorry podcast guys. So just watch on YouTube if you want to see what that was. But yeah.
All right, so um, some of the quotes that he said in this interview, I'll get your thoughts on each of them. It was three of them. He said, "We looked very friendly." Hopefully, 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 he said that in a good way. We looked very friendly, but I agree with Mr. Donald Trump. Y'all did look very friendly, exchanging giggles and whatnot. Um, Another one, another quote that Mr. Trump said was, "We have a little different philosophies." I also agree with that. I do believe they have a little different philosophies, but seem to get along there. So what happens, happens. And his last quote was, "I get along pretty good with everyone." I'm not too sure if he gets along with everybody, but
Yeah. Well, it's more like people don't get along with him than he doesn't get along with everyone.
I can agree with that.
But I was watching TikTok. I have to get my last few minutes in before it's banned. But I
Yeah,
was watching I was watching TikTok, right? And they were like, "Oh, there was a lip reader that was able to distinguish what they were saying." And it was not making any sense.
I was told they were talking about golf, which I can see that with the great president.
I think that was like fake or something.
That
But
may have been a cover up.
I think that was a cover.
They probably gossiping about our TikTok ban.
Yeah. Honestly, we could when we're done, how about we just include that as like a segment? Because I do have some opinions on TikTok.
Okay.
Or yeah, let's do that.
Another point that I had wrote down is that Bush acknowledges Obama. I'm pretty sure he even gave him a little pat on the stomach, like they're old friends or something, and then just completely chooses to ignore Trump. So in my opinion, I think that's kind of strange and immature for a former president. But he is old, so maybe he just didn't see him. Maybe his left eye's getting a little blurry or something. But I would think he would at least shake a hand, or maybe scared of that dominant handshake that Trump gives out. But that's just my opinion on it all.
Yeah, valid opinion. You know.
And then my final point on this was that pretty much every like former president that walked in there, they greeted somebody, if not everybody or multiple people. But when Harris came in, she had a very sour look on her face, and she failed to greet anybody upon entrance. And then she switched with her husband to be sitting closer to Trump, so that she just came in and sat down.
Actually, I did not see that on TV
Yeah, that's
about
what
them
I.
switching. But I bet they'll become besties. They might be playing Wii golf sometime soon.
Yeah, something like that. But I just thought that was kind of also immature. You lost the race, but that doesn't mean you gotta be rude about it.
Or maybe she didn't want to sit next to Jill.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm just throwing a theory out there.
All right, but do you have anything else about Mr. Carter's funeral?
How about we talk about the TikTok ban? I know this is like off topic, but I mentioned it, so let's talk about it.
Let's talk about the TikTok ban.
Okay. Um, Pros, I will be spending less time on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
and but I will be switching over to Instagram Reels, and I will probably see a lot more dogs getting blown up.
Yes, Instagram Reels is not quite as censored as. Looks like I got a sting on my hand. Not quite as censored as TikTok, so wish us luck. But I'm just really gonna miss my little Chinese spy dude. Over the past few years, we just had a strong connection. It wasn't just my For You page, it was our For You page. And I'm gonna miss him. Like, he really did me good putting in the right videos at the right times to cheer me up, you know?
I saw that this morning. That was funny. But honestly, what are we gonna do without a Holden Wells TikTok page?
Saying I got
Like,
2 whole TikToks and probably about 12 likes.
let me hold on. Let me try and find it. Okay, so this is pretty much the only guy that I send messages back and forth with, besides my girlfriend. What are we gonna do without a Holden Wells TikTok page?
Look at that beautiful Pokemon team.
I love how you also made sure to put something over your legs so nobody could see your legs.
Okay, my legs are beautiful and faster than your legs, so he's jealous that I have
They
really.
don't look that bad in this photo. You can
Yeah,
barely see it because the camera. Oh, you can. That is not bad.
he's jealous because my stride will be further than his ever will be, but okay, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for the podcast, actual listeners, not watchers. He's just pulling up pictures of me, and he thinks it's embarrassing, but he can never do that.
No, I was just showing them your TikTok. Follow. You got to go follow. Hold up. I'm trying to find at Holden Wells on TikTok before TikTok gets removed.
Yes, do it before TikTok gets removed. All 6 listeners that we have on this podcast.
Yep. Because he is a 1309 5K runner, guys.
1309.
1309. That is so impressive.
It is.
I could never.
Sub 5 miles.
Yep. Okay. Are we
All right,
gonna?
bro. That's our thoughts on all that. We'll
Yep. So now back to our serious, very serious topic of the future leadership of our cross country and track team.
future leadership. Well, would you like to start, or I can go ahead and start you having?
Yeah, so for reference, I am a junior in high school and I served as cross country captain this past cross country season. And we don't have indoor track captains, I don't think.
I don't think.
So we don't have any.
I don't think so.
I probably would not be one anyway because I'm just like I have been out half the season because I was sick. So people don't really know me that well. But cross country, I was a team captain, and I'm hoping to become a team captain again next year. Hoping to do some great things in cross country next year. So how about you go now and just talk about some stuff, Holden? Because I know you got some stuff.
All right. So for my topic 5 on future leadership, I would. So I would like to say that in my 11th and 12th grade year, and I'm currently in 10th grade, so next year will be my 11th. I would love to be a cross country track captain. I think me and Christian would make a pretty strong duo for that. Um, Honestly, I would, if they asked me to do indoor outdoor track, I would do it. But I'm not a fan on that because I feel it would be a little bit more difficult to, enforce rules and motivate everybody. But I would love to do it for cross country, honestly. Um, some of the strong points I think I would have is I think I would be pretty good at motivating everybody, especially when like the team is needing somebody to be there and do something. I think I could do that. Also, I feel I'm pretty knowledgeable about the sport. I haven't been doing it for too long, but like once I decided that I was all in, and I learned a lot of different information. So if anybody on the team had a question, I think I could help out there. Um, Also, I feel like I don't know. I'd be just like we have middle schoolers on our team, so I think I'd be pretty good to look up to, especially if I run some fast times and just do good overall. So that's my strong points, but I also have weak points. I feel I'll take some situations too serious, which is something I need to work on. I think like this year, like before a race, when we would do our strides out and stuff, there'd be a lot of joking around with some of our teammates, and honestly, if I was a captain, that would I would pretty much crash out before a race if they were joking around on my warm ups. But Christian did a good job, and he doesn't really take that thing too serious. And then also, this is going to come off pretty rude, but it's true. Um, I think I would fail as a captain because I'd be wanting greatness from runners who just aren't great, and and I say that with a straight face. I I feel like that's what would happen in some kids that don't take it quite as serious, like aren't quite as dedicated to the sport. I feel like I would attempt to push them further than they would even like to go. But those are just my weak points. I think my strong points overweigh them, so I would enjoy being a captain or whatever. But that's just my take on me personally being a leader of it.
Yeah, I would enjoy Holden being, my right hand man, the guy that complements my exceptional leadership. Um,
Right
I would,
hand man. You're
yeah.
my right hand man.
Who has more captain experience?
Let's talk about other sports I've done that included leadership.
Okay, let's talk about the leadership seminar that I went to.
That's a seminar. That's not the real thing.
I was nominated in my school to go for leadership.
I'm a first degree black belt in Taekwondo, Wing Chun, and Jiu Jitsu.
I am an Eagle Scout and I am a Hobie.
Buddy said he's an Eagle Scout.
Okay, those that aren't in Scouts have no idea how hard it is, and those that are in it know the struggle. So
Uh huh. But do you have any other points
I'm
on
a black
leadership?
belt.
I sure do.
So future leadership. Of course, I'm looking forward to cross country again when I can be a captain. It's kind of nice, honestly, having a little bit of a season to rest and take a step back and let just the coaches and some of the other athletes handle indoor track because I can't be in charge of everything, right? So, but looking forward to next cross country season, hoping we're successful, hoping we spend a lot of time running, getting that work in, putting that work in. So, and I think next season will be our best season yet. So,
Yeah, so our school is next year will be its fourth year being built.
fourth
So,
fourth year. Yep.
so the 2 years before this year, cross country team didn't even get a second place finish at even a district meet for the boys. So this year we actually got a first place finish in several seconds, but I don't know. I'm excited for next year because we're gonna have a much stronger team and we will be winning districts.
Already. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I will. We will be winning districts next year, and I would love to be a leader of the team that does that, especially for the first time in our school's history.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of our goals. We started at the bottom of the district our first year. We were absolutely terrible. You can ask some of our teammates. Just absolutely horrible.
And then I joined up.
And I joined up too. I was recruited last year to a
Yeah,
public school, so
he was recruited, and then I joined
we
up all
decided
of
to
a
join.
sudden halfway through the season.
But and then so Holden has, for reference, he was a wrestler and he's gone all in running. one of our other co-hosts on this podcast is unfortunately unable to be here right now
For
because
some
I think
reason,
he either passed away or he's sleeping. One of the
but
two.
he's dapping up Jimmy Carter.
Yeah. Yeah, he was he's also kind of quit some sports and just going all in and running, so we have a lot of passion towards this sport that we just love. Part of the reason why we started doing this podcast, we have the passion for running, and we just hope to share that passion with everyone else that's on our team. So
Yep.
definitely
Um.
looking forward to the future of this team.
Yep. Two other points that I had on future leadership is, all right, I'm gonna start glazing right now, even though we were just arguing. But I do admire a lot of Christians' ability to read the room and kind of, act when acting is needed. But one thing that I think he could work on is probably his speed, so that some of the other runners can look up to him. It's hard to look up to somebody who's not good at what they're beating you in, but so he could work on his speed.
Yeah, I am kind of slow. Don't check my Milestat page. Don't check out Christian Lecher on Milestat because you will see slow times. But yeah, thank you, Holden, for glazing me. And I'm gonna glaze Holden for a second, because Holden, even though he just started, he's honestly a core aspect of our team. So I think even though you may not necessarily know if you're ready for a leadership role, I think you're ready. So you're welcome for glazing you.
Thanks for the glaze. I'm excited to put in full effort for our captainship, and hopefully, full effort will cause me to be glazed even more. Just as much glaze as I can get, I'll take it all. But
Okay.
stay humble. Like all you really good runners out there, when you get glazed, just stay humble.
Yeah. Also, don't be hateful. Running is really a sport of love. So have that competitorship with other people, but outside of that, congratulate them if they beat you. Congratulate them even if you lost to them. So you
Or
know
don't. Or be like, I love competitiveness, but I love it even more when it's toxic.
uh, that's where we kind of differ. I don't like the toxic stuff outside of um outside of running, like outside of the competition.
I currently
Say
have.
thank you if I'm gonna congratulate you. Like that's all I ask. That's all I ask.
Yeah, I currently have. This is where we differ. I have 3 people on my list that I would love to meet about 8 o'clock behind the Food Lion in South Hill, Virginia. But if they don't show up, then they don't show up. I wouldn't look at me. I wouldn't show up to go answer this either. But hey, if they don't be a man, they don't have to be a man. But that's just where we differ a little bit.
Okay.
We gotta cut that pause out.
Now you're gonna make me go all the way to the end of the video. It'll be okay.
Restart.
Actually, Chasen just texted me and he says I want to hop on.
What is he
I'm
gonna
just,
hop on and say?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Chasen, we are very sorry. Please don't be too mad at us.
I'm not that sorry. You took forever, so we had to start.
Yeah, and usually this would be. He suggested that he wanted to read a Bible verse at this point because we're about to end. So he is not able to, so I'll let him save it for the next one.
Yep.
So, do you have anything you want to add, Holden, before we go out?
Um, Follow me on Strava.
Yeah, follow us on Strava. Holden Wells and Christian Lecher. If you run more miles than us per week, then you're trying too hard.
Yeah, I got a whole 27 last week, so
I got you know how much I got this week? You want to know? 0.
0.
Yeah, we haven't ran yet. We're gonna run after this.
Yeah, it's currently a Monday and we do not have school, so no practice. I'm probably gonna do about 5 mile easy run, 7:15 pace.
We'll see about how much I do. So check us out on Strava, and thank you so much for joining us for the very first episode of the Dynamic Distance Podcast. don't forget to check out our YouTube and other social media platforms. Chasen is going to be running that Instagram, so he'll make sure to put us up on there. Thank you so much, Jason. But always remember to reach new heights in training and running. Thank you and God bless. Have a good one.
Woohoo!